Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you to create GitHub authentication system using fastapi and reactjs. I use the fastapi for the backend and reactjs as the front end. So as you can see on the screen, there is the button with the text sign in with GitHub. When I click on this button, it asks to authorize. When I click on authorize, I'm successfully authenticate into the system. So the authenticated username is B1 and the email address is shown uh, on the screen, as well as it display the user, the profile image, which is taken from GitHub account. And there is the button called sign out. When I click on sign out, it sign out from the system. So currently I'm using the fastapi user package to uh, handle authentication and authorization into this project. Let me move to other code base. So I am taken the previous code base where I implemented Google authentication system. I have created the video regarding that topic. You can watch that video from my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna implement the GitHub authentication into the same code base. So although we use the fast API only fetch the email address and user ID from the corresponding account like Google or GitHub. So we are customizing its a callback route provided by the fast API user. So as you can see on the screen, I define one callback endpoint, and the one is the main, and the one is that I'm calling the fast get auth router from fastapi user class, which only display authorized endpoint. So let me show you. Actually, this endpoint is coming from the fast API user package, and this endpoint we created. So here we are removing the callback route, which by applying the condition, and here we register that route, and here is the callback in route, or we can say endpoint. So when I move toward I created the github.py file which contain um, the callback function and have the endpoint callback, which first of all, let me show you how the FastAPI user callback looks like. So this is the callback function provided by the FastAPI user who inside the callback function. It only access email address and user ID from the corresponding account. And after that, it call the OAuth callback function of user manager, which main purpose is to save the data into the database. So, but we need the user name, image URL from the GitHub account instead of only email address and user ID. So that's the reason we are creating the callback function, and we are defining our own function method inside GitHub. Let me visit this. Actually, this is the GitHub auth to class provided by the class is coming from the client.github. So when I visit that, so FastAPI user pack is only calling this method get ID email, which only return the user's ID and email. But here we are adding the another method inside this class, which name is get ID email name photo, which return user ID, email, name, and photo. And we are passing this toward the inside what callback method. Inside the user, we are defining the user manager. We are overriding that method, and whose main purpose is to save that data into the database. According to that, we are mm, defining the field like username, image, or you can write the avatar, anything else. And inside the .env file, we are defining the environment variable, um, which is to the client ID and client secret and what redirect URL, which is redirect to localhost 3000. And to get the client ID and client secret, you have to create the application. So you can create the application, or we can say the register the new auth application by visiting github.com settings application and new, and you can define the name of that auth app, and home page URL would be localhost 3000, and authorized callback URL would be localhost 3000, and click on register. After clicking on the register, you will get client ID and client secret. This is overall about the backend. And another one is to connect with the front end in the .env. You have to change that. You have to mention the URL of backend like auth github authorize and auth github callback. And inside the login.js, you have to add the another button, sign in with GitHub, and you have to create another function, login with GitHub, which is same just like the login with Google uh, function. So in this way, you can create the GitHub authentication system using fastapi and reactjs. If you haven't understand properly, please watch the previous video, and I will provide the source code in the description from where will get more information. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a good day.